little bit of it. So same thing, a nice round number here that would cover the cost relative to the preliminary plat extension for the fee there. So basically, that's the presentation, the information that we have at time today, and we, as your staff, are available to answer any other questions. And at this time, I turn it over to you, Mr. Chair.
Do I have any questions?
Yeah.
No?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I do have a question. So I'm just wondering, in my understanding of what I was reading, and I read it several times to see if I was having some brain fog, but in the bottom portion of this here, you say that this is in response to feedback received from applicants and developers who expressed concern that the city's current development-related fees are higher than those of similar jurisdictions and potentially created a disincentive for growth and investment. So our response to their feedback is to make our fees even higher?
Good point.
No, it's to, the research here, once again, is to find a base from the nearest jurisdictions in the county and to find basically what is a median, which matches the city council's policy as to what the fee structures have been for a very long time at this particular time. So the preliminary plat fee, and these are two of the applications that we do get a bit of, and we will be getting more of these in the coming months and years here, especially the way some changes have been happening. So it was very appropriate for us to want to get out in front of this and actually define a specific fee for the preliminary plat, and then do an updated fee element for the amendment, for the major amendment. The regular submittal for a PAD will be staying the same. This is just for if it exists already and they're coming back to amend the PAD.
No, I understand, I understand that, but all that being said, the fee is going up.
So it's not going up. We have the base fee, of 2,500, but the per acre fee is 20.
Right,
So
but our current base fee is
is 800.
$820.
That's correct. So when you consider the per acre fee, when you factor the 20 versus the 36 per acre, that could mean $60,000 reduction in fees for some of these subdivisions we're looking at. And that was the disparity between the two. So we are increasing our base fee, but we're decreasing the acre fee. And that acreage fee is what basically dictates the fees that they have to pay, and that's what they were having heartburn about. And this, we ran this by some of them, and they were fine with it. But when you talk about $36 an acre versus 20 acres for a 4,000 acre subdivision, it's a big deal.
Yeah, and I understand that, and I can do the math.
Yeah.
Um,
And basically,
But-
we have to have these fees that,
Really have any effect unless you're talking about hundreds of acres.
and, well, we have to cover our review fee. We have the engineering review fees and basically we're covering those just barely. We're not losing money. We're not making a lot of money. We're kind of in the ballpark. So we're comfortable with that base fee. And that's the reason why the other jurisdictions have that fee and the lower acreage fee. The heartburn was the higher acreage fee. So that's what we had to reduce it to.
All right.
And plus we still have to cover our own in-house fees.
Okay. I guess I'll just let that go.
On the per acre fee
It was 100 acres?
compared to everybody
PAD
else.
minimum is 100 or 200 acres?
It used to be, but it's as small.
way
We made
lower.
a smaller one for
Yeah.
that stake place.
Base fee.
Mention that we
Yeah,
checked
I read
that,
that too.
and that's how we
Oh, yeah. And,
Yes.
and we checked our in-house plan review agency, and we checked we had our in-house plan review agency run the numbers for us, and to make sure we weren't losing money on it, but we're not making it. The old fees, we were making a lot more money. Yeah,
Okay,
so.
all right.
So, yeah, that's kind of my question.
It looks like we're raising it, but cutting that acreage fee really helps them.
So did you guys do a cost analysis, or you're just comparing yourself to the other cities and realize that?
We did a cost analysis with our in-house review agency to see what it would cost, because we don't have our own engineers on staff to review it like we used to. So we farm it out to Stantec, and this gets us closer to them, and we don't have such a high fee.
So with these new fees, are you going to be breaking even on the effort or the hours?
We're making a little more, we're breaking even and maybe just a little more. We're not making a lot, but we're comfortable with that gap. And then, it's since it's amendment fee, we've already reviewed it prior, so there's no use, us charging us that extra 36 per acre when we've already looked at it. There might be some minor changes. So that's why we reduced the acreage fee, and that's mainly what they're asking for.
Well, it's really important that you guys cover your expenses.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we always cover our expenses, there's no doubt.
Technically, we are, because the 2,500 base fee, you could think of that as far as review time by internal staff, or the cost of the mailing and the letters and things of that nature. And of course, after 820, however long that's been, and there obviously some of that stuff has gone up, wages, copies, making prints, ink, that kind of thing. And the acre thing is an element to cover the engineering, the master engineering element. And like has been said here, we check with our in-house agency, our third-party reviewer, who's been with us for 20 years?
20 years now.
20 years. So, we have a very good relationship with them, when we ask them to specifically look at the cost relationship to the services that they provide for us, reviewing the reports and the traffic analysis and the plan sets and stuff. And that is how we came up with that number, not just because also Florence has it. It is a part of that too. That gives us a target to reference to, once again, also try to meet the policy statement of the council for many, many years.
So you're just trying to be a little bit better in Florence, because we are? Is that what we're doing?
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
By $500, I guess.
So when was the last time we had an adjustment? How old are those
2009, I think,
2009.
around 2009.
Where's our city manager?
I did that, and I was the one that did that back then.
Okay, yeah, that's probably overdue there.
Yeah, we're well overdue. Yeah, that was the fees that I pushed through in 2009 with the building code fees. So those will be coming next.
The impact fees, have they gone,
We're still studying those. About another month we'll have those.
because I'll make you a bet we're lower than everybody else.
Oh, we're lower than the county for sure.
Mr. Chair, Commission, is this on? Can you hear me?
It should be on.
Oh, yeah, it is on. Is it on? Yeah.
Yep.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, we actually are working with Tischler Bice to do the impact fees, and we have a draft out already that all department heads have gotten it. So we're in that process.
I don't want to, we're, somewhere along the line, we're the cheapest, because everybody's coming here instead of going someplace else.
No, I think we're the best to work with, so we're attracting them.
Okay,
Yeah, let's go with that one.
that's a good way to be.
Yeah, we bend over backwards to help them and get them through the process, and not only that process, but the utilities, getting through their utilities, their water company, electrical company, getting them to the right contacts, showing them what they need to do and who they need to talk to get their projects online and going. We always have.
Okay. More questions? Don?
No, I just wanted to make sure you guys were thorough,
Yes.
and not just doing a comparison and realizing you're behind the ball a little bit, but actually, covering your costs.
No, we're looking at our engineering fees. We started a review and a engineering design manual for these new, any new subdivisions coming in to meet our new requirements. So there's going to be a lot of changes in the next couple, entire, fees across the board.
Okay. Hey, why don't you tell them that? Okay. I do. What size are the people that come in here? Are we just doing like acre lots? Are they 10 acre or 400 acres or?
No, what's the minimum acreage for PAD? Or plat, 100?
It can be,
We try to make it 5, but I think it's not as
well, one thing to know is that the way PADs have been being used in recent years, especially with the county, and I'm sure you see some, they can be on very small 5, 10, 15 acre type proposals. It's kind of a little, our minimum is like 10 or 15 because we had the steak place a couple years ago. Yeah. Usually historically you would see things like maybe 80 or 120 because you wanted the the scale of the operation to sort of match the way that the applications were made. And this is like Buckeye or Chandler or down here and stuff like that. But like I said, what's been happening more is because it's more of a descriptive kind of unique on-site document as far as like the zoning standards and the bulk standards and design criteria and stuff that you see at a lot of the county. In fact, actually, there's some stuff that you probably just saw yesterday that's going up to the Board of Supervisors where it was a couple proposals for like 10 to 15 acres. So it's getting smaller because of its uniqueness and stuff. But in the past, it was much bigger, like hundreds of acres and things. Our minimum currently, I think it's like 10 or 15 is, well, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you right after the meeting, but I know it's in that range. So, yeah.
Okay,
We were just doing some quick numbers up here to see where it was previously to where it is now, and just calculating a X number of acres, just, we just like to do that.
Oh, it is 10? Yeah, 10 acres.
10 acres.
Kind of make you guys earn it a little bit there. I'm done.
okay, motion.
Mr.
Oh,
Chairman,
public
yeah,
meeting. Wait.
Yep, public hearing.
Anybody from the public like to come to the mic and speak?
Just
Everybody
Gilbert.
rush at once. Gilbert, you want to speak anymore? Okay. Closed, meeting's closed. Now motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve Cool PZ 25-04-05.
I'll second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Should have sown some more in so we could get them done tonight.
We were trying. It wasn't for lack of trying, that's for sure. He reminds, he's really good at following up and, come on, you guys ready? We were ready, and, yeah, we tried to fill the schedule, but no luck. But the next month, we got quite a few. I promise.
Okay,
And similar, like I said, last meeting, with a lot of things going on, some things we can sort of talk about, a lot of things we can't yet, but we'll definitely be having plenty of application sessions in the coming 3 to 6 months. We'll see how it unfolds. So.
I open the meeting to the public. Anybody have any comments they'd like to make at this time? Come to the microphone.
That's when it gets to be my turn.
Nobody's here to speak. Close the public section. Tom?
I just want to, excuse me. Maybe I'm not supposed to talk. I just want to bring up a couple things, like if we hear a proposal and it goes to a continuance, that when they return back, that any changes that they make to their proposal is highlighted in a different color. So we don't have to look for that. I don't think we've had too many of those here.
The last one I can recall was Hawk Hollow, and that was involving some of the stipulations outside of, there was a lot of discussion before the board, the planning commission along with the council.
Right.
And in that case, the changes or additions to the stipulations, we actually did highlight in red. So we would attempt to do something of that nature in the staff report.
That's good. And then when some of these larger projects have neighborhood meetings, I've seen them in other places, like the county, they're supposed to be from 5 to 9, and they'll have them like at 5 o'clock to 6 or something. When most ordinary people get off work at 5 o'clock, there's no way they can make those. Maybe we put, what's the city code as far as neighborhood meetings? Is it 5 to 9 like the county, or is it something different?
I think he's talking about citizen public outreach.
I think,
The only time I can think of any neighborhood meetings or any group meetings where we've met with the public has been when we were doing the general plan, and we held those at 6 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah, that general plan is the last one.
We were talking about rezonings, is that your,
Any type
anything?
of general public meeting where the general public would wanna be there. What time would? I mean,
We just have to ask Norma. Norma's usually the one that sets,
I think if we just, whatever the time is, that they last for like 2 hours, so people can come home and get cleaned up, whatever they gotta do, and then make it down there, so just make sure that our citizens have ample time,
Ample
because,
time.
they're usually in the evening after you worked all day, thank goodness, instead of in the morning, stuff like that. But I heard that, another thing, Casa Grande, I think the city council did it, but they're addressing like urban camping. You guys know what that is? Is that just something to be aware of?
we passed something similar.
We did change one, for the camping, we had a tent out here, so we can't camp on public right away. The one in Casa Grande goes on the private property too. So
Okay.
we certainly are cognizant of that, so we'll keep an eye on it.
Okay, that's all I had, just a couple of thoughts.
no, go ahead.
Are we gonna like update the code enforcement map, like going forward, since I know that's like an old map too? Are we gonna like widen it since like we're annexing so much of Coolidge? Are we gonna put those in new zones or anything like that?
It's not in the plan, those areas, it's so far in outlying, it just depends on, if there's complaints or if there's something going on out there, then we just concentrate in that area and check. Most of it was for the main city corridor when we developed that back in 9 or 10. And we've already updated the, kind of the public works side of it. So we go by that one. They have different, areas of town that they designated, as far as when they do, trash pickup and stuff like that. But we can do it. We could do it easily, update that. That's probably a good idea to do that. Officers now.
Yeah, because when I think about like when you go out there too, was at Martin Valley, there's a lot of weeds out there and stuff like that, and not just that, but on the roads, you know what I mean? So a lot of times you have like dust devils and stuff like that, bring a lot of the trash.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of the weeds right there that are on the side of the road. So I was just wondering if.
Yeah, those are hit all at once. There's some large property owners, so they're as the interior ones, where there's individuals. I don't know if they're absentee owners or those people are easy to find. Yeah, that's probably why we haven't really concentrated that much. I think a lot of it's in the county, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
County
the
islands,
public
too.
right-of-ways and stuff belong to the county, some places.
Thank you.
But no, yeah.
So you guys do have some things in the pipe? It's been kind of lean up here last 3 or 4 or 5 months.
Yeah,
I mean,
short of begging
there's-
these guys to.
There's businesses wanting to come here, there's
Well,
subdivisions.
it depends on how you look at it. I mean, we had 2 applications to the one site, but we had 3 at the last one, and as would be it, sometimes we work with the applicants, so we'll have, like over the last couple of years, sometimes 1 or 2 items at each one. So we've had a couple of, multi-applications, sessions, and the next one we will be having 3. So that's just sometimes the way that it goes sometimes. So we're doing about somewhat similar as we usually do.
How's our building permits for homes?
Permits, we issued 34 just for Gateway Manor alone.
Yeah, I know.
And then the total for June for the single families outside of Gateway is 26. So I hear home sales are kind of weakening right now, but man, so
Get ready.
we have that. We have the ABC 123. They got their foundations going. The Spruill Apartments just down from them. They started their foundations. The Sundance 3 started their mass grading, so that's that's coming online. The Sushigan restaurant, they're undergoing a major remodel inside the old Sunset. We're going to council next week for 3 airport grants. About $2.3 million worth of grants of construction projects. So that's pretty good. You know, we're replacing the irrigation pipeline. We're starting that on Northern here in a couple weeks. I think they're noticing it right now. So, yeah, we have a lot going on.
Why didn't we wait on that, tearing up the northern on that side till it was like cooler? Just to be selfish, you know, that's where the irrigation water comes to our side of town, and
Yeah,
gonna get any for a couple months.
yep. Yeah, I don't know why they scheduled that or not,
And if it was the availability of the contractor or something, and
possibly.
maybe have to expend it a certain time.
We are having the Centennial celebration September 20th at San Carlos. So hopefully it's looking nice and not dried.
Yeah, we're timing it so where the park isn't out of water for very long, and all residents too that get that. Shouldn't be that long, and then when they get that pipe in, they put water back on.
That's the hottest part of the year, though. Come on, Gilbert.
Yeah.
And Procter and Gamble's still coming? Haven't heard much float.
They just take, yeah, they bought the land, they're working on things,
Okay,
they just take a long time.
all right.
Well, has Global done anything? I think Global was a hold up, isn't it?
Global's doing I think they're
Yeah.
well, they're working together, but.
Yeah, I think we're done with the meeting pretty much. If we could wrap this up. We're getting a lot of different topics, and
Okay.
some of which I don't think any of them come back here, but either way, I'd like to move along.
They're all been here before, yeah. Okay. Thank you for taking care of that lot down there. There's still, they didn't clean out underneath the bushes along those fences. There's still a lot of bottles and cans, crap underneath there, but they sure made it look a lot better. They started.
Yeah, it's ongoing. It's ongoing, and every time a storm comes in, it blows. Yeah, it's tough.
Motion.
Motion.
I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
A second?
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?